And our top focus on WION at this hour. Japan's Prime Minister Fumio Kishida has arrived in India. The focus of the two-day visit is on strengthening the special strategic and global partnership between India and Japan. He will be holding talks with the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi as well. The visit is a part of Japan's efforts to push for a new plan for an open and free Indo-Pacific amid an increasing Chinese footprint. Now, during the two-day visit, Kishida is also scheduled to deliver the 41st Sapru House lecture on the Indo-Pacific, in which he is expected to lay out his vision for the Indo-Pacific as well. Now, apart from this, Kishida will also visit New Delhi's Buddha Jayanti Park to see the Bodhi tree. The tree has special significance because it is the sapling of the holy Bodhi tree under which Lord Buddha attained enlightenment. Now, over the years, the ties between the two nations have grown to significant levels. This also includes cooperation on defense and security. Japan is also a major investor in India. The two countries have set up Japan industrial townships in order to promote economic partnership, investment, industry, and also infrastructure growth. Delhi and Tokyo also share a comprehensive economic partnership agreement. It covers various areas, which includes trade in goods and services and also investments.
I would now request the two Prime Ministers to come to
दस्तावेजों के आदान प्रदान के साक्षी बन
in the field of cybersecurity.
For more on this, a principal diplomatic correspondent, Siddhant Sibal, is joining us live from New Delhi. A very good morning to you, Siddhant. Tell us, how is New Delhi viewing this visit by the Japanese Prime Minister, and what will dominate the talks between the two Prime Ministers today?
Well, today is the key day of Japanese Prime Minister Kishida's India visit, and he holds talks with the Indian Prime Minister later today around noon time here in Delhi. And the focus will be from a partnership between the two countries. We know that Japan has been helping India build the bullet train to, of course, Indo-Pacific. In fact, Indo-Pacific remains the key issue of discussion during the conversation today. We know the Chinese aggressiveness is something that has been a cause of concern for both Japan and India. With Japan is the Senkaku Islands, with India it is in its northern borders. So essentially that will be a key focus. But the Japanese Prime Minister is also going to extend the G7 invite to the Indian Prime Minister. The summit happens in Hiroshima from 19th to 20th of May, and India for the fifth time consecutively is being invited for the G7 summit since 2019 with this invite.
Right, Siddhant, I was just coming to that how significant is the latest meeting between the two Prime Ministers, as it is being held at a time when India and Japan are holding the presidencies of G20 and G7 respectively?
Well, essentially, this will help in convergences between the two sides. We know that Japan's focus is primarily the Russia-Ukraine conflict and, of course, the tests being done by North Korea, but also how the developed world, that's the G7 countries, can work together on issues like climate change and food security. Now, India, of course, is seen as the leader when it comes to the global south. It is being seen as the voice of the global south. It hosted the summit in the month of January of the countries from the global south. So India, as the chair of the G20, is trying to focus on issues grappling with the global south. So we can see both sides coming together on the same page, essentially at a time when there have been major geopolitical changes.
Right, so now that also talking about China's growing assertiveness, do you think that the two leaders are keeping an eye out on the much anticipated meeting between the Chinese President Xi Jinping and the Russian President Vladimir Putin, which is scheduled to take place later today?
Well, of course, it might be a pure coincidence, but important geopolitical event while the Japanese Prime Minister is here in Delhi. The Chinese President Xi Jinping travels to Moscow. Now, we know that when it comes to China, it is a common cause of concern for Japan and India. But when it comes to Russia, there are divergences. Japan, of course, sees Russia as a worry, especially after the Ukraine conflict. But for India, Russia is an important partner both in terms of defense, in terms of energy, and essentially this visit by the Chinese President Xi Jinping is something that will be closely watched as to what transpires from the entire visit. And now, of course, the Russians will be keen to use it to show that they are not isolated in Asia and across the world.
Right, absolutely, Siddhant. Thank you for joining us on this hour and sharing your insights with us. Thanks very much.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.